Welcome to Parev-TV. Once again, we are discussing the Armenia-Azerbaijani war. We are in the fourth or fifth day, and we are now turning to Taleen Babayan. And the very, very important for me is Taleen Babayan's experience and travels in Armenia very recently as she produced the Rapping Under Fire documentary. Taleen, you've been to Rarapal recently. You know the people, you've spoken to them, you live there, you know how close they are to the borders, you know how they feel today, you know what they're going through. What is your take of the situation?
So actually, when we were working on the documentary, we filmed a lot in Mardagerd, and Mardagerd is about 1.5 miles from the Azeri border. And when we were there, it was in the back of my mind that violence could occur. It could erupt at any moment. That's just how it's been for the last 30 years. It has been a frozen conflict, but there have been skirmishes and battles along the way that have erupted and resulted in violence and in death as civilians and soldiers. But what's been going on, this is the 5th day of the conflict now, but it is something that looks to be a lot more serious than other flare-ups in the past. Armenians have lost over 100 soldiers, civilians have been killed. I read that 3 civilians were killed in Mardagerd, which was very sad, and because, as I said, we spent time filming there, and we met a lot of the people there. We met the soldiers who fight on the front line. So it has been very tragic. In Marduni, also Stepanagerd. So the people that we have spoken with, the women and children, they're working on keeping them safe in the bomb shelters and in the shelters underneath their homes, which is seen actually in a clip in the documentary. And also the men there and the musicians in the documentary, they've been arranging transport to get civilians out of these regions and to get them to safety. So everyone on the ground there is doing something. They are trying to be as active as possible despite the situation there and the violence that's going on.
You know, what is not in the documentary is the fact that the Turkish army and Turkish mercenaries are all crawling into the area and bringing death and destruction. And this is really, really unacceptable.
Yes, and also, I know a lot of Armenians and also a lot of journalists, they were wondering why there wasn't much coverage of this in the beginning, because this is a totally different ballgame now with the amount of influence that Turkey is trying to assert into the region. They are, Erdogan was quoted as saying Armenia is the biggest threat to peace and tranquility in the region. I mean, this is egregious. There's 4 countries that Turkey has unwanted military presence in the world right now: Libya, Cyprus, Iraq, Syria, and now it is becoming involved in this Azeri conflict, and it's escalating it to a very dangerous degree. So in the beginning, France 24, Al Jazeera, BBC were covering this, but now the 5th day, we're happy that there is a lot more coverage going on, and it's more balanced coverage, and they are trying to explain the conflict and not just referring to it as a border dispute, because this goes way beyond a border dispute. There was a surprise attack all along the border of Artsakh 5 days ago. And it's interesting because after the conflicts in July, there was a joint military exercise, that's what they were calling it, between Turkey and Azerbaijan. So Turkey was flying its jets right all along the Armenian border. And that's a prelude to war. So there was kind of an inkling that something was going to erupt, and it has, unfortunately, these last 5 days. So I think the Azeris and Turkish governments were aware that we are in a pandemic. We are 6 weeks away from the election. And there is a lot of distraction going on here, but also Trump, Erdogan, they have a very close ties, personal and business, aside from their political, relationship. So maybe, there is a blind eye being turned to what's going on. But luckily, France's President Macron And today, Russia, they condemned, the violence that's going on. And Russia's also in a difficult position because, diplomatically, they are a member of the Minsk group. So we are aware that they do support Armenians, but how overtly they can do so since they are a member of the Minsk group, that is, a bit of a conflict of interest for them. But I did read today they sent 3 MiGs to Artsakh, but they're fighting against F-16. So that's also militarily, we need to ramp up. I mean, Azeris have drones. They've killed so many civilians because of those drones. So they are fighting very dirty. It was a surprise attack, fighting very dirty. They have the weaponry. Turkey is behind them, and now these the mercenaries, the Syrian mercenaries that they are hiring to go fight against Armenians in Artsakh. I mean, it's becoming very messy, but luckily, the international community is beginning to speak out, and hopefully a ceasefire will be brokered within the next few days.
Taleen, you are a reporter and you know what world opinion, how important world opinion is. How are we doing in that area, and what can we do more to get world opinion?
What needs to keep being done is keep voicing what is occurring. And, I'm just so in awe, and I'm so proud that, every time I go on Facebook, everyone, even non-Armenians, are posting about this now, and that is through education. There's a rally today in New York, I'll be attending. There were rallies in Los Angeles. There are rallies going all over, and this is so important, not only for Armenians to spread the message, but to bring in the international community. I was reading today also that there have been 4 reporters that have been injured in Marduni because of the drones and because of the shelling from Azerbaijan. 2 of those journalists were from Le Monde. They were French journalists. So, the more coverage we get, the more people go and see what's going on, the more truthful reporting there will be. Armenia, the Prime Minister Pashinyan has said, we welcome journalists to come in. Please come and report on what is going on. But Azerbaijan does not want any journalists. They blocked social media in their own country. No one can say anything. I mean, it is only the message that they are getting, or the world is getting, is coming through Aliyev. So there has been, it's in violation of, any kind of truthful reporting, or balanced journalism. So I'm happy that more outlets are picking up the story. It is gaining press. In the last 5 days, I've seen how there has been more analysis, through the news channels, and there have been a lot more print and digital media's articles being disseminated.
There's so much also happening within the community. We are really a very vibrant group of people, very united, especially these days. And as you know, the social media is being used by each and every Armenian organization. One of the headlines read that Armenia is at war and the Armenian people is just one solid, unified army. That's how I do feel today. As I'm talking to you, I feel the passion, the dedication in your voice. You're going to the demonstration in a few minutes. Tell me what you observe in terms of the Armenian unity.
Despite any internal differences that there may be, when it comes to our homeland, when it comes to our history, when it comes to the genocide, when it comes to any Armenian being attacked, no matter if you're a quarter Armenian, you're 0.1% Armenian, full Armenian, the mobilization is just incredible. We have Armenian Assembly and ANCA, working with, our government here to make sure that our representatives are speaking out, which they have. And then on the ground, we have a lot of grassroots organizations, and also individuals, just educating and making everyone aware of what's going on. This is an attack. This is an attack on the Armenian people, not only on the homeland, but around the diaspora. This is a people, this is a nation that have suffered so much already and have still rebuilt and still remain strong and are still defending their homeland. I was reading that thousands from the diaspora have volunteered to go fight in Armenia and in Artsakh. And this is what we need. This is our power. This is our strength. This is our heart. I said last week when we interviewed about the documentary that when you are defending something that's yours, you fight with so much passion. And this is why I think Armenians will continue to defend that land in Artsakh, because that is historically ours. That is our indigenous land. These mercenaries can come in. Turkey can come in. Azerbaijan can come in. To them, this is just territory. To Armenians, this is our history. This is our heart. So, okay, maybe, we don't have as much manpower, we don't have as much weaponry. We do have more intelligence, I can say, and we have that strength that comes from within us. So, I'm just so proud of everyone that's mobilized and who is participating in any way, either on the ground, by raising funds or spreading the word. That's so important right now.
I don't know if you were able to hear the press conferences Armenian military personnel and Gharapal personnel were giving, both in Armenian and English and French and Russian, and they were so organized, and the media flowing through the centralized media control of the Artsakh army was really, really impressive. And that again is being done through the efforts of the younger generation that is more eloquent, more versatile in these languages. And somebody this morning said Armenia needs one thing, and they need more people who can communicate in English and can deliver the message of the Armenian people in the clear English, convincing language to all people. What would you say about that?
I completely agree. Again, this is about spreading the word. And, thankfully, what makes this so different from the 92 war is that we have the social media. Within, I would say minutes, we were aware of the attacks on the border, 5 days ago. Within minutes, we were aware and we were ready. Whatever it was that we had to do, we were ready to do it. And the power of social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, we have the ability to disseminate the message, again, not only to Armenians, because we are aware of what's going on, but we are spreading this message to the news outlets. We're spreading this message to the non-Armenians, to our government officials, and they're also disseminating the message. I saw Governor Newsom had tweeted, about what was going on there. Kim Kardashian, a huge following. She's making her followers aware of what's going on. This is important, and this is key, because it is thousands of miles away. People don't even know, maybe perhaps, what Nagorno-Karabakh is. They might not know the history, but once you're educating them, you're posting photos, you're posting stories of these human lives that are being taken away because of this war. People become invested and they want to see a difference. When I was in Artsakh, I went to a military base there, and I met the soldiers, and I met a couple of the commanders, the leaders who were there. And like I was saying about the heart and the passion, I interviewed one of them, and I'll never forget what he said. He said, we are never going to allow another 1915 to happen again, ever, against Armenian people. And they spoke with such conviction. And, I think of that. And now, of course, everyone, feels, and, they have a right to feel that Turkey wants to finish off, the genocide. But I think we're in a very different situation now. But we need the awareness. We need the aid. We need as much help as we can get on the ground there. And again, we need to communicate this message. And we are so fortunate, that we are able to WhatsApp with, that I've been doing with those in Mardagerd, and hearing what's going on directly from them in real time. And that's what is such an advantage to us right now.
There is also something to be said about the opposition within the Azerbaijani government, and also the unrest, the corruption, the dictatorship policies, and there's so much bad things happening in Azerbaijan. What can you tell us in terms of the problems of an implosion maybe within the government of Azerbaijan as a result of this war?
So in the past, it's been said that the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is used as a distraction. Whenever there are internal issues, and there are a lot in Azerbaijan, the corruption, their economy is suffering right now, the pandemic, the oppression, the fact that you're blocking social media for your citizens. So this could be, it's such a complex situation. It could be an amalgam of many things, but yes, again, this could be another distraction for the people, to rile them up, to bring out some nationalistic sentiment. And this could be why there was this attack. Also, war is good for business. This is great for Turkey's economy right now. They're dealing arms. They have those fighter jets, they have the weaponry. Israel also is selling arms to Azerbaijan. And, it's interesting because there was this warming of relationship between Armenia and Israel. They opened the the Armenian embassy in Israel. And now again, we're in this situation. There was an Hermes 9 drone. That was an Israeli drone that Armenians shot down. So we have evidence, and, that there is business going on between them, and they are also involved, in this current war.
I know you are going to a rally at the United Nations Plaza. Tell me why are you going? What do you think you'll achieve? And what would you tell others about these types of activities?
I think it's really important to gather. I know we're in a pandemic, and I've been as cautious as possible. I'll be staying on the fringes, but it's important to be there. Everyone should wear a mask. Everyone should social distance, but we again need to voice what is going on. Armenia, Artsakh, to many is a faraway land, and awareness and education is what's so important. And also it shows solidarity. We're looking at the pictures of the soldiers. We're looking at, families who are in the bomb shelters, in Stepanakert or in Mardagert. What are we doing here? That we can show them that we are standing with them. I'm going to the rally in Los Angeles. There was a rally going on yesterday. I saw footage of that. Armenian flags. There were thousands of people that were gathered. I know there's multiple ones going on there, and hopefully here this is just the beginning, that we'll continue to unite and show our presence. Look, we are few in number. I mean, there's 3 million of us in Armenia. Majority is in the diaspora, but we have a strong presence and we have a strong voice. I mean, to mobilize that fast here and get in touch with that many government representatives, to have direct lines of communications with Armenia, to start sending aid over there and medical equipment, it's astonishing. We're small, but we are strong. And Turkey knows that, Azerbaijan knows that. And like I said, this is our land that we're fighting for. Artsakh was given to the Azeris by Stalin, just like how Nakhichevan was, and that is what we are dealing with. These are the consequences, and it is so tragic, the soldiers that have died, the civilians that have died, especially when I think about how I met so many of them and the conversations we had when we were filming there. I mean, it's very heartbreaking, but this is part of our cause, and in Armenia, they know that too. They are so patriotic, and they're ready to go fight and defend their lands. To the community, the message should be to keep fighting. We, like I said, although we are thousands of miles away, we are with every Armenian in spirit who is in Armenia, who is in Artsakh, and we have to continue the aid. This is not something that we can forget about in a week. This is something continuously that we have to mobilize and work towards and voice our opinions, educate, call your representative, donate. I mean, there are things we can do here, and we have to just continue to stay united, and we have to continue to stay connected and be aware and not let this fall off the radar, and get in touch with the news outlets. Again, get in touch with the government representatives, and just be as active as possible and be as aware and educated and inform everyone around you. We have to keep spreading our message and spreading ultimately the truth.
Taleen, I do believe that Armenia is at war, and the Armenian nation is one solid united army. And with the soldiers like you are a soldier, we feel so much proud and so much more confident of the future. And we thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you for all that you are doing for our community.